Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for season 2 of the Game of Stones podcast, episode 7. We're with Mr. Vinny Dip from Element Granite and Quartz in North Philly. I'm proud to say Poseidon customer, but also much more than that. Great person, great individual, great business leader, great family man, and I'm proud to say that I've been a part of your journey. So thanks for coming to Miami. Thanks for being here. And let's get to it, man. I want to hear.
I want to say thank you, Joe, for having me here. This is a beautiful setup where you're taking off, bro. Like, we've been talking about doing this for a long time. Actually, you were one of my biggest fans and motivators since back 10 years ago. I want to hear a little bit about how Vinny Dip started his entrepreneurial journey, because it was before you purchased that fateful bridge saw, that Spectra. That Spectra 6000i.
2009 or 2010, when was it?
Yeah, 2009 we connected talking over the phone. It got installed in 2010.
Got it.
And that was my grand opening at April. And you met that deadline, number 1. And that was the first dollar I made out of the Granite shop with that saw.
Got it. And how did you get to a Granite shop? Because a lot of people don't ever plan like, hey, I'm going to be a stone fabricator. I'm going to get in the stone industry.
Well, I never wanted to be a granite fabricator. Never. To this day, I probably don't even want to be a granite fabricator. But I just going back from starting with my parents, seeing my mom working at a greenhouse with 115 degree heat, I just didn't want her to do that anymore. Then I see my dad working late hours, typical immigrant family, working at the restaurant, trying to make the tips and everything else. But I remember seeing that free Chinese calendar they get from the supermarket on the wall, and he used to write $36, $32. That's what he was making per day on his tips. And when I seen that, I was about 8 years old. I started going out shoveling snow, making $5 here, $5 there. And one day I wanted to make enough money. So as a motivator, it was just trying to make money. Like, we were broke forever, and we were broke for 90% of our lives. It probably wasn't until I started the Granite shop, that Spectra, that was installed. And it was hard in the first few years, but we started in 2009, 2010. The economy was terrible.
Yeah.
I was supposed to just sell slabs.
Right.
In the beginning, I thought that was gonna be easy. Just buy from overseas, sell slabs. But in 2009, 2010, no fabric was buying anything. They were just shutting down. So I was like,
yeah, I remember, man. Those were rough times.
So people were just asking, hey, can you do my kitchen, that kind of stuff? I'm like, I just sell slabs. Can you find a fabricator? They're like, they're all shutting down. I was like, I gotta find a way to cut this damn thing. So then I reached out to Stone Machinery.
UseStoneEquipment.com.
UseStone, yeah, there you go.
You were referred by Mr. Todd Pierre Anthony.
Yes.
I think is a Stone
still,
Machinery Sales.
Is that website still up and running?
Not that website, but he's still in the business brokering equipment. Good
but just before the Spectra, as far as the entrepreneurial journey, I tried everything. I sold ginseng, had a cell phone business. I tried to open a pizza shop.
You sold ginseng?
Yeah, it's a Korean ginseng, the MLM.
Oh, multi-level marketing.
Yes. So, obviously somebody that looked good, looked the part.
Yeah.
They had all the nice clothes on, the jewelry. I was like, wow, it looked like that looks easy. But that type of scheme, only the top makes all the money. We're like the foot soldiers just to pay it up.
Yeah, sometimes the product's not the product. The product's the allure of doing the network.
Yeah. So it was a lot of smoke and mirrors, but they got me. I was inexperienced, so I failed with that. Ice cream store, it was called Just Dip. It was supposed to be a pizza shop.
Dip,
Yep.
right?
I was supposed to, and then we delivered ice cream. And it worked well for about 3 years. I had like 12, 13 employees. My sisters were helping me. But obviously that didn't work out. And then wound up working at Best Buy, And that was probably the lowest part of my life. Like, these people with big money buying TVs, and I had to go get that TV for them and put it in their car. I was in like product processing.
How old were you during that Best Buy experience?
I believe I was about 19 years old at that time.
But you were going to college.
I was in college. I had a cell phone business at the time of college. I sold to the Nextels. I don't even remember the Nextels.
Nextel.
Yep,
I remember those.
Yeah, I had the BlackBerry Nextel. We were making commission. Like every activation we made, we were making like $200 per activation. If it was a basic phone, we gave it for free to the customer. But I had about at least 10 to 15 employees that I hired, all the girls from college, from Temple. I went to Temple University to help sell phones in book bags. And we had an office in Center City, Philadelphia, trying to look the part. You know, I didn't really know how to be successful. I just seen other people look successful. I tried to copy it. We didn't need an office in Center City, but it just felt like, oh, these guys are walking in suits. They look good.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to do that. And then I invited people, hey, come to my office. And they came to a nice office over there. But at the end of the day, I got pretty much kicked out of that business by my partners at that time. And I was the only one selling everything. I sold over 300 activations for one company through a friend of mine's. Her father was supervisor at the company that makes the paper peanuts, styrofoam peanuts, for packaging. So I set up the activation for all the employees to have the Nextels to work in the warehouse. But as soon as I got that activation, I technically got booted out.
Wow. So you brought home the big account, and then you got booted
Yes,
out.
yeah. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna focus in school.
Right.
You know, and I working at Best Buy. I had my own apartment. I was living on my own since I was 16.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
And then I think I was making $700 at Best Buy per month with school, just part-time. And my rent at that time was $650.
Just barely.
Just barely. Just enough though, but I saved every penny. I made it. I paid my rent. It was hard. It was like kind of like, I was a big business guy. You know, he owns a cell phone company, you know, head up high, like, you know, a young entrepreneur. All of a sudden, I'm working at my local Best Buy, and my teachers at school will come by their TVs. And I didn't know any better. I was like, if you guys were so smart, how come you're not a doctor? How come you're not a lawyer? You know, and I said that. I got suspended.
Wow.
I didn't know any better. I didn't mean like, you know, but obviously they love what they do.
A little rebellious, challenging.
Yeah.
Which is what you got to be an entrepreneur, and I think and think like, you know, you got to have that outside the box confidence to break out of the system, what I call it, right?
Yeah.
Or some people call it the matrix. And so we got on that call, and you, I think we had a good conversation over the phone. We had a met, and I said, look, man, I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna install this saw for you. It was a used saw. It was like your last $20-something thousand, right? That you were
at
gonna
that
invest
time,
in the Granite shop.
Coming from all those failed businesses that I was doing, I was living off credit cards. I was living off it, got to a lot of debt from the business, many failed business, and then was in pretty much debt. So like that Granite shop was like my last hope to make it. Like, and I still needed to make money to like get my parents out of poverty. Like we were still in poverty, you know, like we were on welfare, all that kind of stuff. Like we couldn't have Jordans, you couldn't have shoes, you know. But so the Granite shop was my last resort. And it wasn't that I was supposed to be a fabricator. I was just supposed to sell slabs. So I got my first container, never unloaded a stone container before.
Yeah.
I brought that in, had, I think it was like 60 slabs, started trying to sell it to the local fabricators, couldn't sell it. I was like, you know what, I gotta cut this myself, figure it out.
You got to become the fabricator,
So-
move the material.
Yeah, so that's when I made that call, got you on the phone, and I was asking you 1,000,001 questions from the littlest things, and you were there so patient, explaining everything. That was the moment where I felt like, you didn't have to help me. You didn't have to explain everything. I didn't know your situation at the time yet, but obviously hindsight, I know exactly how hungry you were at that time. You were going through a lot as well.
Well, because by that time, I had built up a multi-million-dollar business selling tooling and machinery. So by that time, 2009, I was 31 years old with a dream to do Poseidon. And I had lost probably 6 or 7 real estate properties. I had liquidated all my inventory of machinery and tools to not fire my staff. I needed to let them go when the sales went to zero.
Yeah.
And this was in Miami, in the city, right, that we're in now. But I lost, I went from net worth $3 million to like negative
Just
$2
like
million.
that in
like
like
just
that
like
one,
that in
wow.
like 9 months. And so I was grinding too. That saw I had taken it on trade. Like I wasn't even making money sometimes because I would take in on trades used equipment towards other better used equipment, and or So I remember like every penny counted. And so I worked a lot. I did a lot of repos of machinery myself with a helper, with a hydraulic jack and a forklift. And so like I knew that machine. It was the first machine that I sold, actually, one of the first ones that Spectre saw. So, but this was 10 years later, 9 years later. So that machine, I had pulled it out, and I knew the machine. So I knew that, one thing that I think, and it's just a metaphor for life, right? There's always a solution. And so that was my mindset doing machinery. There's always a solution. And then you start learning. Normally it's people that have machines, you'll notice, like it's always something stupid. It's never something major, complex. Like sometimes you go down rabbit holes, but it's always something silly, something stupid. So I figured whatever problem we would have, we'd be able to work it out, which we ended up getting into a small space. Your first warehouse was kind of small, and I remember it had an overhead crane, thank God. So we could put the bridge on top. We were working till midnight, and I was like, hey, where's the forklift? We got to put the bridge, and you're like, forklift? And you're like, let me see this thing. And we took the pendant control cobwebs. It was like an old little machine shop or something.
It was like 3,000 square feet, but there was like 800 square feet. It was office, a little baby showroom.
Right.
But the shop was like close to 2,000 square feet. So we barely can move in there at all. And I remember I was like, I had to hire a company to boom it in. I'm like, how am I going to get this saw from the front of the warehouse to the back? It wasn't that far. But
it was a good 30 feet.
Like and that was, and we were like, Vinny, we need a forklift. We need all this like stuff. Everything that you were telling me at that time, I did not understand half the things you were telling me. I didn't understand how to drive a forklift. What city kid ever have a forklift? I said, how are we gonna get it? You taught me how to build the blocks. And we stacked the blocks to hold up the bridge saw before you got there.
Oh yeah.
And you told me, you told
me. Those were like little rigging secrets.
and it was like a science. I get like drop ceiling guys will do it too, to kind of with gravity. You like get a tube.
Oh, the water level.
The water, run it, go diagonal. And I was like, what are you taught? There's no way. And all of a sudden, the water level, we marked it. And that part was the beginning of it. And then I think you came like a few days later.
Well, I was toasted because we were working late and I didn't check the phases, and I didn't check first to go up or down with the head, because that movement, when a machine has a frequency drive or a VFD, what they call them, attached to the motor, you don't have to worry about phases direction. But when it doesn't, if the phases are wrong, when you press up, the machine might go down. And that's what ended up happening. I don't remember if it was up or down, but it didn't go the right way.
I think it was inverted or something like that.
And we broke the gearbox. And then I was like, shoot, don't worry, I'll be back. And you were like, no, I'm never seeing this guy again.
I remember we were sitting outside on the curb. I think it was like midnight or later. In my mind, I was like, I'm not letting you leave. Like the streets came at it. I'm not letting this guy leave. Like
kidnapping him.
I was like, you got to fix this. Like, no, this is all the money now. All my money just went into this. And then it went boom. But the beautiful thing was, we talked. I seen the emotion in your face. You cared a lot. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna let this guy leave.
He's off the hook.
And then I think we went on the phone back and forth. You taught me how to draw the part that we needed, like going on the diagonals, diameter of this.
Oh yeah, for the measurements that I forgot to
You
cut.
had it custom made and then shipped it to the shop, and you came back like in 2 weeks, and then we installed everything. And that was like the bloodline and the start of my whole
you building your empire. Which today I'm happy and proud to say you've built up a real estate portfolio, multiple 8 digits. Which is a dream in and of itself. You have a beautiful company. Proud to say you have our stuff, our T-Rex and the Lotus saw.
But prior to the T-Rex, and thank you to the Spectra, because that was able to cut everything.
Is it still at your place?
It's still there. We're gonna clean it up. We're gonna memorialize it.
We're gonna memorialize it. I'm gonna suspend it from when we finish our new building. I'm gonna put it in the lobby. I think hanging from the.
So people thought we were nuts, and I didn't even know better. I didn't understand the economy and everything else. The only thing I knew about the real estate market at that time was like the house that I bought when I was 21 years old. I couldn't pay the mortgage, and there was a orange sticker on my door. It's like the foreclosure process.
Oh, wow.
All right. And yeah, obviously we had to work harder to like pay the bills and everything else. But then once I started making a little bit of money from the Granite shop, I started buying real estate in my area that were run down.
Little apartments.
Yes, yeah. But also not just as an investment. I just needed to keep my guys busy as well. But we weren't that busy at that time. But every little money that we made, we bought properties, spend time, fix it.
Keep them busy remodeling it. Same
And
guys
I've
that
just
work in the
been like,
shop.
I would
Grinding.
say lucky at the same time because it was kind of dumb, not dumb, but it was like people were just calling me dumb. Why would you start a Granite shop in 2009, 2010 when everything is closing up? There's no activity in the housing market.
Right.
Without the housing market, we as Granite fabricators do not exist.
Right.
So I didn't even know anything about that. So it took a few years before we started making some money. That's why you've seen that boxing video I posted.
Yeah, I
if you
love
look
that.
back, you
It's
see the
awesome.
Spectra in the back.
Yeah.
The shop's clean. There's no granite, no nothing on the work tables. It was empty. I would sit there by myself in the shop as long as I can, trying to wait for customers, but they wouldn't come. Anytime I did need help to like install or anything, I'm fortunate enough to have like great family members, cousins, and wanted to see me succeed.
Yeah.
But
And your team pretty much that's with you today is the guys that were with you since the
from the
beginning.
beginning, yeah. So after that shop, I was able to, actually got kicked out of my shop because we got a little busy. We were making too much noise. But I had a 5-year lease. But because of the landlord trying to kick me out, it made me look to go buy my next building.
Which was awesome.
Ashburner, yeah. And then we went from like 3,000 square foot shop to about a 14,000 square foot shop, which looked huge to me. And we had like,
I remember that. And I remember saying too, I said it looks huge now, but trust me, it's gonna become small one day.
yeah. So then I was so excited. We got the Spectra over. I got the Viking.
Yeah, you
the
bought one of the
5-axis.
first 5-axis.
That was like the first intro to the CNC world.
And the miter splash, you got
The miter splash came a little bit after,
Yeah.
and that was like pretty much one of the best investments I ever made is the miter splash, because we had a big project that had
straight pieces.
straight pieces, and then I like to come in. I like to work. I like when I can come in there, whether it's by myself, from 4 a.m. to like 8 a.m. Just run all the pieces, and it's all ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think every shop should have a backsplash machine and edge machine.
Yeah.
Miter splash preferably.
And I didn't know anything about those machinery at all, but it made our life so much easier at the shop. We were doing everything
It was
manual.
like 2014, I think.
But you're gonna outgrow this. It's gonna look small once everything is
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
And then we outgrew it. And then the next phase was the new warehouse we're at right now. It's 50,000 square feet on 4.5 acres. We're not fully operating like capacity for the whole place, but I never want to move again. Moving machinery sucks. So now I think we have a good spot where we can grow our machinery, have space for it. You don't have to move 10 things to do one thing, and it's like a lot safer. And then there's like the 5-year increments. So 5 years at the old shop, 5 years at the mid shop, now 5 years at the big boy shop. But it took 5 years to set it up. Everything was bigger. When you had to do like electrical, you had to run it 1,000 feet this way.
And I remember you also had another building with a bunch of slabs in it too, right?
That one I rented. It was a
Okay.
30,000 square
That was
foot.
huge, yeah.
It was in the darkest, dingiest of neighborhood.
Yeah, it looked like an older industrial building.
And
But it was just full of slabs. It's crazy.
And my wife today, Emily, girlfriend at that time, decided to like quit whatever she was doing,
Yep.
supported me, and it was working out of that warehouse. It was like walking there. I look back now, I feel.
I remember like how much you still do, but how much you're very hands-on.
Yeah.
And I remember you'd be like on the phone, jumping on the forklift, moving material by yourself, doing the clamp, getting off, and I was like, dude, you gotta.
But a lot of those things out of brute force and just trying to figure it out.
Just
but
grinding, yeah.
it's at that time I never like had somebody like I didn't have like somebody that was in the granite industry that guide me, So like having you by my side the whole way when I asked you, hey, what blade to use? How fast should I do this? Like what polishing pads to use? Like how are people doing this thing?
You would call me sometimes, and it made me have to think about it too to give you a good answer. But it also was because too I had to always analyze those things to sell the machinery, or to prove myself, because I was a younger guy selling the machinery. So I'm sure people were thinking, this guy's great. He's a nice young guy. He looks trustworthy. But what if he changes his career next year? And I remember you asking me, like, how long should it take to polish? How long should this dude? Because you wanted to actually measure.
Yeah.
How long should it take? And then you just were like, screw it. I'm gonna also learn, so I know how long it takes. Really.
Yeah. I don't remember if you remember this, but you sent me an Excel sheet, and it kind of listed out like positions.
The production sheet that I was
Production
working
sheet.
on?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
though.
that would have been 2013, something like that.
Yeah.
That it was like cut time per slab. I did that to build it out, so that, because I think a lot of granite shops, because it's natural, so there's so many variety of materials, it's easy to go into a shop and you have a bridge saw, and then your team is never going to give you consistency because every job's different.
Yeah.
Every job's a different material, so you can never really quantify and hold them to a standard. And so that's what that was. That was for hand fabbing. Like if you were finishing everything I was able to quantify within 10-15%. Because it's going to change between quartz and granite, and obviously granite and quartzite. But like for the most part, it allowed me to help simplify. Which now with data analysis and all that, it led to creating the hybrid cycle. Way fast forward, right?
Yeah. Now, like going into the new shop, obviously we had the Viking at the old shop, but then
now this is the third move.
Yes.
Which is still Ashburner, because I think it's
Ashton now.
Oh, Ashton. Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Ashton.
okay.
Yeah.
I was like, is it on
it's
the
a cool
same
name
street?
because it's like a big cigar company that's called like Ashton
okay.
or something like that.
Well, I remember when you showed me that, you're like, you got to see this warehouse I'm buying. And I went there, and the thing was ginormous. It's like an airplane hangar. It's like 70 million square feet. I don't even remember, what is it?
50,000 square feet
50,000.
on like 4 to 5 acres.
Yeah, I went there and I was like, how much? And you're like a little under $1 million. And I'm like, what? It was an amazing deal. Deal.
Well, I tried to buy that property
time.
a couple of years ago, but when they were like still operating.
Before that, you told me.
And then the real estate agent didn't even let me go in to look at it.
Wow.
Because I either looked too young or they just judged me right out.
For sure you still look young, man. You look the same as when I met you, dude.
I don't feel it.
I know you hit the 4th floor finally.
Yeah, yes. Welcome
me
to
too,
the 4th
which
floor.
is so crazy to think about how.
So then 3 years later, that same agent, it was a sheriff sale. And then I picked that up,
Nice.
for...
It was amazing property.
And then we were so fortunate, like a couple years later, there was a lot of money invested into it because I had to do trenches, like 500 linear feet. Place so big. But Amazon built right across from us. That helped a lot. Exactly.
Skyrocketed
So
the value.
it's like,
That's awesome.
like, what do they say? Like, it's better to be lucky sometimes. I feel very, very lucky.
Yeah. Well, I think real estate's always just a great play.
Yeah.
And you had the right mindset, just buying properties. And when you came, because I also, after paying all this rent in Miami when I was in my 20s, and after the crash, I was just thinking, as soon as I can, I'm going to buy my warehouse, our warehouses for the machinery. In real estate, you can't ever go wrong.
Not now.
But you also had a great luck on, like I said, I don't know if it's luck. Luck favors those that take risks, right?
Yeah.
So like you put some money into Bitcoin.
Yes. I learned about that. I forgot what year. I went to like Vegas or California. I met Emily's cousin.
Yeah.
And he was like talking about Ethereum. Like I was like, what the hell is this thing? And then just over the years, what I did was I just kind of learned the buy and hold strategy. I never sold anything. I just bought it.
Yeah,
Didn't
just
look at it. Went up, went
diversified a little
down.
bit. Instead of buying a couple units, you put some money in. I think you told me you put in like 50, 60,000 in total.
Yeah.
And then blew up.
But then also I seen it go the other way as well. But I didn't panic. You know, people always tell you, like, I was reading back then, they're like, you know, hold, don't you know, don't have the weak hand.
But what you did was genius, if I remember the story correctly, because I might be off. But as soon as it blew up a lot, and you took up like several hundreds of thousands of bucks, but you took it out at the right time. And you put it into buying a high-end property at a really good price when nobody could buy that property.
So yes, so my dream was always to have a house by the water. And then as I got older, it kind of pushed me more in that direction. And then I wanted to have it for my parents. I want to have that, just show them that, hey, your son made it, like, you know. But and it was
on top of the awesome house you built for them.
Yes.
2-story, complete remodel of a really big, huge
and that was my
mansion
first
house,
construction project.
7,000 square foot house, right? Because it's a 3,000 square foot pool house and a 4,000 square foot.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then once we finished
Beautiful
the basement,
house,
it's about 10,000 square feet.
But you really wanted to make sure they knew that you made it with the shore house too.
Yes. And then I got lucky because it was, I needed the down payment for that shore house. And traditionally, when you run a business sometimes, like, you don't get certain loans because our financial statements are not like a simple W-2.
Right.
So the
it's
banks,
hard to read like what your real income is sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes, you know, when you're running a business, like, you know, it's you know, it's too much up and down. So maybe they didn't want to take as much risk. So they didn't allow me to put my normal 20%, and they were like, you got to increase your down payment. I'm like, how much?
Yeah, you told me that.
And I had to increase it. So
like what, 40% or something?
I had to actually put almost 70% down. Wow. I didn't want to let it go. And the only thing that kind of saved me that time was
the Bitcoin,
the crypto. Yeah, that went that way.
Nice.
But for a while before, it was bad. You know, it was in the red, and I was like hurting. But I was just like buying more. You know, trying to dollar cost average. That's what they'll teach you. But it's just that perfect timing. And I got scared. As soon as it popped off a little bit, I was like, I want to put this parking somewhere safe, you know?
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
And then
real estate.
Got that. At that time, interest rate was like 2%, 2.5%. So I got 2.25.
What year was that?
2021, before the whole thing.
Perfect.
And then
that's when we really started planning again for the T-Rex. We kind of got busy. We lost touch for a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was an amazing play because now that property is like ridiculous.
Doubled. It doubled. Yeah, no.
It's amazing.
And if I were to try to buy it now, I wouldn't probably afford it. Like, you know what I mean?
A lot of people don't know, if you try to buy a property that's more than, I think it's 700 grand, it's called a jumbo loan.
Jumbo loan.
It's very difficult to qualify for that.
So at that time, the exact number, I believe, was like 822,000. That's the only thing I was qualified for. Anything over, I was not able to get.
Oh, wow. You had to pay cash, right?
Yes.
And you were able to pull out the...
So at that time, the value was like $2.3 million.
Wow.
So minus an $822,000 loan, that was my down payment. So if you do the math, it's probably like $1.6 million down payment.
Wow.
That is crazy.
That is nice.
I didn't want to let it go. But it's like when they told me I couldn't have it, it made me, and then by the luck of God, everything else, it was just like, Vinny, I want you to have this.
Right.
And then it worked out.
But that's funny how things work out when you have a burning desire, when you manifest, you visualize it. I'm sure you visualized yourself owning that house, closing on the house. And I think a lot has to be said about mindset and how important that is as an entrepreneur to go in to knowing you're going to win. You got to believe in yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like you got to, like, you're pretty much a story of just pure hardcore grinding and self-belief.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, an inspiration to a lot of people out there that they might not know, you know, what it takes or if they can do it, but they just got to believe. There's nothing that's going to stop you if you got that drive and that vision, you know, because a lot of people went to, in our story with the T-Rex, there was a moment where a lot of vendors from Italy would call us up and say, man, you guys really should look into getting a robot that you can make, right? Like a Poseidon robot. You guys should really start looking into getting a saw jet, you know? And we always had our belief that no, we're going to come up with the system that's going to be unique. It's going to be outside of the box, but all the chips were stacked against us, pretty much. And we were just blessed to have an awesome network of friends and customers like you, trusted us. And we said, this is what we're doing. And a lot of them were like, okay, I trust you, let's see what happens. Like, we literally forced ourselves, probably the first 40, 50 T-Rexes was just sheer willpower, like, believe me.
Brute force, it was all brute force.
But the cool thing was that the machine could do everything. So like, whatever you needed anyway, even if you did it what I call traditional, which is like the traditional way of doing fabrication, which is split processes, sawing and then fabricating on a router or an edger or by hand. Doing it single process, even if you don't do it single process on the T-Rex, you can cut and fab with it. So whatever you need, you can use it as a dual table.
It was so perfect too. When the T-Rex got installed, I just had like a 212 unit project, and I put 2 slabs on each table. Same, you know, it was one of the best feeling in the world to just get it all done so quickly.
How long do you think it took you to turn it out?
I think it was like 3 days or 4 days we were able to finish it.
What?
It was.
You ran how many slabs total in that
4
time?
at a time. So, but the kitchens were fairly small.
Right.
I was able to get like 3 kitchens.
Yeah, 4 cycles, because you put 2 and then you put 2, you can start going.
Exactly.
And then you do some swap outs. So in
I
a
was
day,
getting, like,
how many were you doing? Like,
so every run we were getting 12 kitchens out. So if you calculate the slabs, so I would say like, it isn't me pushing it, you know, we're pushing like probably like 400 square feet, you know, just on that. But
a day?
Yeah, at that moment, yeah. When we had the work at that time.
Were you working 8 hours or a little bit more? Probably a little more?
We probably got it done with under 8 hours, to be honest with you.
Really?
Well, it's me. You know, I allow my guys 8 hours, but I just wanted to just move it. Like,
I've never seen any, but you're also a unicorn. Like, I wouldn't expect others to work that way, but you're like max efficiency. Watching you work is impressive. Like, you get a lot done.
You have no choice, but when you have so much to do, you just got to get that done so you get to the next, you know. And this is the part where I start learning from you. It's where you can't do everything, Vinny. You know, you can't do everything.
It's tough, man.
I thought I can, and I thought I wanted to prove you wrong. I was like, I can. Watch me. I can do it.
Yeah.
But then as it got busier, you know, life happens.
Yeah.
You can't do it, you know, and then.
Especially now you're starting family soon.
Yeah, you know,
so,
I'm praying for it. That's like the one missing thing right now for me.
Yeah.
Is to have. Yeah. So we're hoping we're trying very, very hard.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, the goal is like, you know, to grow, you know, like I want to be a billionaire. It's a very, very big goal, but I want to speak it to existence. If I don't get to but if I get close, I still think I win. But I want that, and I think you know, we all want that, you know. And I don't need it just for the money or kind of things like that, but I just want to test what I'm capable.
Yeah.
And then with the help that I have now with you, with Kaplan Consulting, my family, I have all the best people around me. I have a group of friends that are here today. You know, obviously sometimes you don't have the friends from where you started, you know, but I feel like I have all the strongest people around me.
Yeah.
They're in their prime, and I feel like I'm in my prime. So if we're gonna do something, it has to be in this decade.
Right.
And I have a lot of hope, and I have a lot of.
You know, in hearing you talk, it's like a lot of us, I think, all of us entrepreneurs that are grinders like this, like we all think the same.
Yeah.
And like I remember reading Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's like the book that started me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you have like angels come into your life, right? There was a guy who was a consultant working for a Granite company that I was working for, and his name was Tony, and I can't remember his last name, and I wish I could get in touch with him one day to kind of show him what I was able to do. But I was just an employee, and he had us take aptitude tests, and I was in a management position in purchasing, so all the managers took this test. And he comes back to me and he's like, dude, he goes, you're gonna be a multimillionaire at a young age, he said to me. I was like, what? How? Like, what? Why? Why are you telling me this? And he's like, because nobody's ever scored this high, like, on this test. It was like 180 questions test, okay? And I felt like I was in college. I'm like, why am I taking this test? And he said to me, read these two books, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, and The Richest Man in Babylon,
okay.
by George Clayson.
Yes.
Okay, so I read those two books, man. I remember going to Barnes and Nobles. This is like 1998. Okay, there's America Online, so there's no cell phone. No, there's the Nextels and some of those flip phones. And I just remember actually reading the book, right? Not audiobooks that everybody does that.
Yeah.
But one of the things in that was they said that most people, when they reach their success, it's usually around the age of 40. And in my mind, I was like, nuh-uh. Like, I got to prove this book wrong. So
We'll do it sooner.
I did it in my 20s that my goal was to be a millionaire, right? Or at least have a net worth of $1 million. And I did that by 26, 27, right?
Wow.
But then I realized also, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, right? And then the other thing was, if you really want to level up, because then what's success too is success, yeah, you can make a lot, but if you don't have time to spend it with your family and your loved ones, what's the point? If you're stressed out all the time, always on the phone, always on the weekends and doing everything and delegating, and if something happens to you, your business ain't running, how is that really success, right? Or did you just create another job for yourself? And that's when I started expanding my mind, and that's when I teamed up and I got Kaplan Consulting. Now you have Kaplan Consulting.
Yeah.
That's how we came together, and he came into Poseidon to help me scale and help me think differently and help me, because we stay trapped in our bubble, and the only proof of what works is what we've done.
Yeah.
So we're like the same ego and pride and confidence that got us to where we are is also what limits us sometimes.
Yeah.
Because then you think like, how's somebody gonna teach me something better that I could be doing when what I've done has worked until now?
Yeah, well, the thing that hit me the hardest was what got you here won't get you there.
Yep.
So, but I thought I could. I was trying, but there is that cap if you try to do everything by yourself.
Yep.
So, I really learned how to appreciate the people around me, my team, and it naturally helps them grow as well, because they want the best for me.
Yeah.
I just got to give them a little space.
How has Kaplan Consulting helped you think, in these past
It
couple
organized my brain.
Yeah.
Like, I'm learning how to speak a little slower. I'm always talking very fast, but I'm just trying to get whatever's on my head out. But not everybody understands what you're saying sometimes. It's like, they can't see what you're saying. So it's good to document everything that you want. Processes. For them to see it, so when they can digest it at their own speed. Everybody learns different ways. Like with videos now, with AI, Kaplan's like, very AI focused now with a lot of his tools and everything
processes,
else. Whale, yep. And it's like, sometimes you need those videos. Some people learn by videos. Yep. Some people learn by, a book. So however they learn, there's a tool for that.
Have you found that like it's helped you remove yourself from a lot of these day-to-day activities that you've been involved in?
Yes, definitely. I still can't remove all of myself because I'm still that guy.
You're really deep in there.
Yeah,
so it's tough to.
So I'm kind of halfway coming out.
But your social media is also blowing up. It's awesome.
Yeah,
you're telling the story, right? And that's something that I love about marketing these days, is that you can be creative and you can have something like, we don't spend anything on Facebook ads or Instagram. We were able to get on one reel 1.5 million views.
Wow.
Just organically.
That's crazy.
It was one of the videos, just 25 seconds. It's a funny video though. It's, Jesse Harold's eating pizza. And I'm like, is that an integrated sink cut upside down in 3 minutes or something like that? And he's in the background. And he's like, duh. It's a funny, video.
Jesse's a character.
But after that, now our views get 100,000, 50,000, 70,000. And I feel like I don't want to taint with boosting the ads, because then, from what I've heard too, is if you boost your ads, when you stop, they purposefully like lower the views. You know what I mean? So I don't want to taint the organic views.
So like a lot of the marketing, the social media, I'm fortunate, I'm gonna give a shout out to my little cousin, Michael.
Yeah,
he
he's great.
stepped in and he kind of brought me out of your
shell too.
Yes. I was not comfortable in front of camera.
Well, I remember last year when we brought you on the thing, and I was like, you got to start getting on and tell your story. And you're like, I'm going to let you do that. And I was like, no, you got to tell your story. Everybody's got the story. You got to tell it.
It takes a, like you just got to do it. Like even after this, the best way to learn is just do it, and you got to commit, and you got to post it online so you can see yourself. And once you see yourself, that's accountability, right? If you record it and don't post it, you give yourself an out.
Yeah.
So you just gotta do it. And then no matter how you look, and that's what Michael was telling me, just do it, be yourself, and just get better at it. You can critique yourself, and then you gotta take other people's critiques. So I was open to it. And then little by little, he's like helping me, and I'm now here.
Yeah. Another guy who has great social media in terms of in this industry, I'm following, and we go to the Rockheads events, and these are great resources and organizations, and they do a lot of roundtables. And one of the great speakers on social media is Glenn Ross, Coastal, right? From Coastal Song Group up in I think New Jersey. Yeah, they're doing a phenomenal job. That's somebody that I think Granite shops should look at and kind of see how they're doing it.
I was fortunate enough to talk to him at the last Rockheads event.
Yeah.
I sat talking for like 30 minutes, just throwing ideas back and forth, and he was pretty open, sharing a lot of his. Great material. Yeah, he had a great talks. But it's the showroom. Like his showroom is pretty magnificent.
Oh, is it?
And he did a lot of videos on it. So shout out to Glenn.
Yeah, I gotta check out some more of those. Yeah.
So right now I'm in the process of motivating me to renovate my showroom. So we went in there and just gut it, and then right now we're doing some videos on it. But I would say about 1 more month, I think it will be complete. So I think that's gonna boost up a lot of our retail. I'm learning a lot from the Rockets and from the Poseidon experience. I'm gonna throw events there. It's more about the relationships, like versus instead of like putting ads out, marketing. I just want to build relationships with my contractors that I've been working with so long.
And a lot of people do that. They have great open houses. They have some music there. They got a DJ. They get the food in there. And then it's just about, building those relationships.
And allowing them to grow together too. The designer can talk to the contractor.
Well, you're operating now out of 50,000 square feet. I think you have the capacity in all your equipment to do easily like close to 1,000 feet a day of production.
Yeah, so with Kaplan's help, we went through each machine and see what the production power would be without adding any more guys. I think we calculate about 900 some odd square feet.
Nice.
In an 8-hour shift. Yeah. Without like stressing ourselves out.
Right.
But we can push it. We can push it to like if we had to. But
coming on Saturday.
But we're not there at 1,000 square feet a day yet. But we do a lot of residential right now.
You're soon with the marketing.
Yes. And then if our big commercial customer that have been working for probably the past like 15 years.
So what would you say for a lot of the folks out there that are thinking about contracting Element, Granite, and Quartz, whether they're builders, contractors, designers, and also end users that want to come into the showroom, why should they do their kitchen with Element, Granite, and Quartz?
Well, number one, I give a lot of credit to my wife. She runs the showroom. She will be stepping out, but it's the family-oriented atmosphere, pet-friendly. We usually pet owners. Like 80-90% of my customers are pet owners. And sometimes I got respect to them because when you can show a little extra care and love for your furry friends, it shows a lot about yourself. So I think sometimes the way we treat our dogs, and that's our mascot for our, Emily always brings them to work. Yeah. It's just a very, very family-oriented business.
It's a warm atmosphere.
But we treat them like I'm like their family as well.
Yeah, they're not another number.
I know their names. I know, where they live and everything else. All like local community. And one of our core values that Kaplan helped me create it. And if you look at our success rate of installation, this year it was 100% minus 1 week. We had 95% completion success.
Wow.
100% install success from the team. Great communication. Lot from
on delivering on the promised delivery date.
Yes. So one of the core values was Jack Kaplan was like, get it done right the first time. And I take pride in that. We get it done right the first time. And we're pretty much like with Bloom, when he tracks all our success, 100% every week after week after week. It was one week, and I blame these damn printed quartz that's coming to this damn market. And I asked the supplier, why, what happened? Because I think the printer ran out of ink towards the end. So there's one piece that we installed,
Wow.
and it didn't match. From the same slab though.
Wow.
It didn't match. So then I had to like get that, bring it there, try to match it up, get a whole new slab, cut it from this portion. But obviously we should have seen it. So I don't blame all of them. I should be able to see it too, or my guys. But at the end of the day, you know, I blame that.
Hey, listen, you don't lose, you learn.
Yes,
right?
And we all learn.
So that's awesome, man. Well, man, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Thank you for being loyal and always believing in me as a person as well as the company. And I really appreciate you, and I'm excited to see
Let's
how
go.
we're gonna continue to build that goal.
Yes.
Get to the big B.
What would you call it? The takeover is happening?
That's right.
Yeah.
We're taking over.
Yeah.
Taking over together.
No choice.
Awesome, bro.
Let's fucking do it.